What's happening, guys, and welcome back to the first discussion video of 2023, and we're definitely kicking things off with a bang as we have so much to discuss in regards to Transformers Rise of the Beasts. We're now in 2023, so the toys are going to be coming out thick and fast, and I am so excited. It's been 4 years since our last live-action Transformers movie, and some of the reveals and leaks and listings that we're going to be talking about in today's video are actually incredibly exciting, so we're just going to get stuck straight into it. So first of all, we have a brand new listing for a buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series Voyager class Optimus Prime. Now, why is this news? Well, up until this point, we didn't actually know we were going to be seeing a proper Studio Series version of Prime based on the new movie, which I know sounds bonkers considering he's one of the main characters, but for the longest time he hasn't been rumoured up until now. It's kind of strange to see him packaged under the buzzworthy Bumblebee toy line. I'm not too sure whether or not we'll actually see a proper mainline Studio Series version of this guy in the future, you know, much like we saw with the Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee. First time round, it was packaged under buzzworthy Bumblebee, and then we actually got a reissue of it in Studio Series. I guess only time will tell, but I do believe, if my memory serves me correctly, there are rumours that we're also going to be seeing a mainline version of a Voyager Optimus, so there's going to be two versions of the same character in the same scale class. Which one is going to be more accurate? I guess only time will tell. Judging from some of the images we've seen online, I'm willing to bet that the Studio Series version is going to be the slightly cooler out of the two, but again, we'll just have to wait for the official reveal. And here we have a Smash Changer, our first reveal for an official Rise of the Beast Smash Changer, and it is an Optimus Primal. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to be covering these figures over on the channel. I may check out a few of them, but they're definitely not the collector focus line like the main line or the Studio Series. So, I mean, let me know down in the comment section below. Would you guys like to see some of these more simple changes over on the channel? But, I mean, this guy looks cool. Of course, he's based on very early concept art. I'm willing to bet that this figure was probably ready to go last year, early 2022, but considering the movie was delayed, they've pushed the toys back until this year, as we do get some very early kind of concept art of Primal, and judging from how he looked in the trailer, the face is going to be a little different, and I imagine the same will be here for the toy. We also get an image of the back of the box, and I'll be honest and say I think the ape mode for a Smash Changer actually looks pretty sick. He'll transform in a whopping 3 steps, so definitely going to be a very difficult conversion, but I mean, for some of the gimmick toys, definitely not looking too bad. A lot better than some of the ones I thought we saw for the 2018 Bumblebee movie. And here we have some super exciting news, which literally just dropped this morning. And these are basically official reveals. I think these were found on an Australian Amazon listing. And first of all, we have our first look at Studio Series Core Class Rise of the Beasts Arcee. Now, I know you guys are going to be wondering as to why we're seeing her in the Core Class. I think it's for 2 reasons. I mean, first of all, she is a very small character. I think she's one of the smallest characters from our new Autobot lineup going forward. So it just makes sense for her to be in the core class. I imagine we'll get a much more advanced version of her in the deluxe class, which will probably be out of scale with some of the other figures, but I am glad that they're giving us 2 options here, and it's a cheaper alternative. It's a cheaper way to get this character into the collection. And for core class, I mean, I've seen some people bash this, but I actually think it looks pretty decent. Now, I am willing to bet that this is going to be mistransformed just by judging how the front of the bike appears to be hanging off her butt. I definitely think it's going to be able to compact away a little better, but it appears as if though she's going to have some pretty decent articulation for a core class figure. She will come with an accessory, that being the blaster, which looks a little smaller when in comparison to how she actually appeared in the trailer, but I like the colours, decent amount of paint, and here we have an image of her in the bike mode, which is undoubtedly the reason why we're seeing her in core class. I'm willing to bet this is going to look so sick alongside the likes of our Rise of the Beast Studio Series Deluxe Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, etc. But I mean, the bike mode doesn't look too bad. Again, I do think it's mistransformed, especially if you check out the rear of the vehicle. It seems like that tab should definitely peg into the other arm, so this is more than likely a mistransformed stock photo, so I'll wait for some official in-hand images. But yeah, good to see that we're going to be seeing some core class figures for Rise of the Beasts, and the next character is so sick looking, and I mean, this is probably the most exciting reveal we're going to be discussing in today's video. It is a Terrorcon core class Freezer. Now, this is a character which up until this point we heard no rumours about, no listings, nothing. I believe until today he was codenamed Delta or something, but we now know that this is a Terrorcon Freezer, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh my god, they're actually going to be finally giving us a Studio Series version of Frenzy, as this design looks like it's literally Frenzy. But no, it's going to be one of those kind of Terrorcon drones that we see towards the final battle in the most recent teaser trailer, so it is cool that we're going to be getting kind of an army builder in the core class, and considering it's going to be slightly cheaper, it allows collectors just to pick up more of these around, you know, the $10 to $15 mark, and I really like the way this guy looks. I mean, very Michael Bay-esque. The Bayformers definitely appear to be back. I know that is going to put some of you guys off, especially off the heels of the Bumblebee movie, which was kind of very G1 focused, but I really like the way this guy looks. I mean, kind of very General Grievous-esque with these 4 limbs sticking off to the side, and then you have the 2 chicken legs, which I think looks sick. Really nice paint as well for a Studio Series core class. And unlike Arcee, we don't have any images of the alt mode at all, and I'm willing to bet it's because it's going to be a very spoiler-specific figure. You know, we've been hearing rumors about these transwarp keys. I think this guy could potentially turn into one of these, especially as we begin to read the product description. So it states here that Terrorcon Frieza transforms and attaches to other Studio Series figures in robot or vehicle mode as a battle weapon. So he's basically our first live-action movie Battle Master, which I think is really exciting. Looking forward to seeing how that alt mode is actually going to turn out. I mean, is he going to be a transwarp key? Is he going to be some form of massive melee weapon? I guess only time will tell, but really looking forward to this guy in particular. And I think out of Arcee and Frieza, he's definitely looking to be the coolest out of the bunch. And come on, they've got to retool this or just slightly repaint it into a live-action movie frenzy, as basically the sculpt work is already there. Here we have our first possible look at an upcoming mainline version of Deluxe Class Cheetor. We recently saw the mainline Air Razor, and I have actually posted a review of that over on the channel, so be sure to check that out. Basically, these mainline figures are going to be separate from Studio Series, and I believe these are kind of the concept art inspired versions, so these are the ones that we were originally meant to see in 2022, and the Studio Series versions were always going to come out in 2023, but again, because the movie was postponed, they had to postpone the entire toy line. That's why we're seeing duplicates of the same character. That's why we have 2 versions of Air Razor and undoubtedly 2 versions of Cheetor, as I know there's a rumor that we're going to be seeing a proper Voyager class version. But I mean, this looks decent. Again, I don't think it's going to look anything like this in the movie, especially if we go by some of the clips that we saw in the trailer. There were a few snapshots of Cheetor in his robot mode, and it doesn't look like this at all. But I think this is going to appeal to those Beast Wars fans, you know, those who really want live action movie, proper representations of those Beast Wars characters. I mean, this does look like a live action movie version of Cheetor. It doesn't look particularly stylized like we've seen with some of the other characters, so I guess you get the best of both worlds. And I mean, it's definitely a decent looking figure. I do like the way it's designed. We get some mechanized parts, especially in the chest. I'm not the biggest fan of the color of brown they've used on the legs, and I'll discuss that more when we get into the Cheetah mode, but he will come with 2 weapons. It's kind of crazy to think that this is a deluxe class, and not only does it come with the tail whip, something which we saw with the Kingdom version, but it actually comes with his gut gun. I mean, why couldn't they given us this when they gave us the Kingdom version? I'm not sure if these guys are going to have a slightly higher budget than the War for Cybertron figures, but looks to be really posable. And then as we jump into the Cheetah mode, this does look pretty cool. I mean, we do get a really good glimpse of the Cheetah mode in the latest trailer, and besides the color scheme, I'd say this looks pretty accurate. In the movie, he's very toned down. He's more kind of, I'd say, gunmetal in color than as opposed to this big bright yellow. But I mean, decent details. Really like the mechanical components, but I am not a big fan of these huge brown back legs we have. Now, granted, this is supposed to be a mechanized Cheetah, but it just detracts from the overall look, especially considering the rest of the Cheetah is primarily this big yellow and then some pieces of cheddar cheese. But yeah, I mean, looks decent. Looking forward to getting this one here up and over on the channel. And then the next piece of news that we have to discuss is an Authentics Core Class Bravo, also known as an Optimus Primal. So this is our Core Class Primal. Quite strange to see this packaged under the Authentics line. I'm not too sure whether or not this is actually Core Class scale. It looks to be, and I mean, pretty decent size. I would have loved to have actually gotten this in a main line. I mean, why they couldn't have packaged this in Core Class for Legacy Wave 2 instead of giving us that Thundercracker is a little beyond me, as it does look like it's going to be a very cool figure. Has all of the articulation I imagine you'd expect from a Core Class. Pretty decent looking robot mode, comes with 2 weapons, and then we also do have the Gorilla mode, which again, for a Core Class, I actually think looks pretty promising. So I'm going to try my best to get a hold of this, but considering I live here in the UK, I don't think these authentic figures come here, so it's going to be a little difficult to get a hold of, but I will try my absolute best. And then finally, just to round things off, we have a very exciting leak, although one that's very mistransformed. It is our Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Leader Class Scourge. So the biggest takeaway from this for me would be that we're actually going to be seeing the main bad guy in the first wave of Rise of the Beast figures, so we don't have to wait like 2 years before we get this guy in the collection. He's coming pretty shortly, and I mean, despite this being very mistransformed, I'd say it looks pretty promising. I've seen a few people online bash it, but you have to bear in mind, this thing looks as if though it's literally been imploded from within. So I mean, is this how he's going to die in the Rise of the Beast movie? I guess only time will tell, but he comes with a few weapons that we haven't actually seen a good glimpse of in the latest trailer, that being this kind of arm cannon attachment, so that's really sick to see. He does come with the massive arm spike that we see him kind of impel Bumblebee with in the trailer, so that's cool, and he has that massive claw that I discussed, I think, in 2021 when I was invited to the Rise of the Beast production kickoff event, so really nice to see, and I do like how they're keeping that kind of internal lava effect with translucent orange plastic, so very exciting times ahead. The toys for this brand new movie appear to be coming thick and fast, and unlike the Bumblebee movie where it was very staggered in terms of the proper collector-orientated mainline figures, Rise of the Beast seems to be going back to the old days, Age of Extinction, Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen, and giving us a heck of a lot of figures. I mean, we've got the mainline, we've got the Studio Series, and then we've got those basic simple changes, smash and change figures, so a lot of toys coming out. Definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for all of the upcoming reviews. So I'd love to get your thoughts down in the comment section below. Out of everything we've discussed in today's video, which excites you the most? For me, to be honest, it has to be that core class Frieza. I really like the way that guy looks, and of course, our Rise of the Beasts leader class Scourge. I thank you guys all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.